Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of AI in healthcare. It seems like it's poised to really change everything. You've sent us a stack of research papers and even a news article, and we're going to help you understand what's really important here. Not just the technical stuff, but the human side, too. How AI is impacting researchers, doctors, and patients just like you.
It really is touching every corner of healthcare, from basic research to clinical practice. Like you said, a true paradigm shift.
So let's jump right in. One of the first things that really caught my attention was this survey of medical researchers. It seems like there's a ton of excitement about AI tools, particularly chatbots like ChatGPT.
Yeah, so the survey found over half of the researchers they asked were familiar with AI chatbots, and a significant number of them had already used them in their work. And they saw these tools as really transformative for tasks like lit reviews, manuscript writing, even grant applications.
Yeah, those are huge tasks. It makes sense that researchers are excited about anything that can help them be more efficient. But there's a catch, right? The survey also found that very few of these researchers have actually received formal training or had any clear guidelines from their institutions on how to use these tools responsibly.
Yeah, and that's a big observation. While the potential upsides are clear, responsible AI development needs a foundation of education, ethical frameworks, and a deep understanding of the potential pitfalls, especially in a field as sensitive as healthcare.
It does seem like we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves,
Uh-huh.
jumping in without fully understanding all of the implications.
For sure. And one of the biggest concerns is the risk of amplifying bias. These AI systems learn from the data they're trained on, and if that data contains biases, the AI can perpetuate and even magnify those biases.
So even though AI has the potential to improve healthcare for everybody, we need to be super careful to make sure it's developed and implemented in a way that doesn't just make existing inequalities even worse.
Exactly. We don't want to just reinforce those existing biases. We need to work towards a more equitable system.
Now let's look at some specific examples of how AI is being used in healthcare research. One paper you sent over focused on predicting the course of PMVSD, which is a type of congenital heart defect.
Yeah, so PNVSD stands for perimembranous ventricular septal defect. It's basically a hole in the wall that separates the two lower chambers of the heart. And in babies, this defect can often close on its own, but it's been really hard to predict which cases will resolve spontaneously and which ones will need some kind of intervention.
Oh, wow. So doctors and parents have had to make these really difficult decisions with a lot of uncertainty. How is AI changing that?
Well, researchers have developed an AI model that analyzes data from echocardiograms, which are ultrasound images of the heart, along with the patient's medical history. And this model can actually predict with pretty high accuracy whether a child's PMBSD is likely to close on its own.
That's amazing. Having that kind of information could spare families a lot of anxiety and potentially unnecessary procedures. And I imagine this has huge implications for doctors, too.
Absolutely. Imagine being able to confidently tell parents their child's heart defect is likely to resolve without surgery. It could really change how clinical decisions are made and potentially reduce the number of invasive procedures performed.
It also raises some really interesting questions about how doctors and patients will navigate this new landscape. Will doctors fully trust the AI's predictions, or will they still rely on their own judgment? How will this kind of technology change the doctor-patient relationship?
Those are all important questions to consider. As AI becomes more and more a part of healthcare, we need to think carefully about how it will impact the dynamics between doctors, patients, and the whole decision-making process.
Absolutely. Another research paper you sent over focuses on how AI is changing the way we design and conduct health studies, particularly in the realm of digital health. It seems like everyone has a health app these days, but some are obviously much more effective than others.
Right, and this paper explores the use of multi-state modeling. It's an AI technique that can analyze patterns of engagement in digital health studies. And by understanding why people stick with some health interventions and abandon others, researchers can design tools that are more effective and engaging.
That's so fascinating. So, AI isn't just being used to analyze data from individual patients. It's also being used to understand broader trends in how people interact with health technology.
Exactly. They're finding that things like personalization, user interface design, even the type and frequency of feedback, all of these things play a huge role in how engaged people are.
That makes sense. It seems like this research has the potential to improve the effectiveness of all sorts of digital health interventions, from apps that track our fitness and nutrition to platforms that help people manage chronic conditions.
Exactly. And by understanding what drives engagement, We can create digital health tools that are more tailored to individual needs and preferences, leading to more personalized and effective healthcare.
And speaking of digital health, it's clear that this whole field has just exploded in recent years, especially after the pandemic forced us all to embrace telemedicine and remote monitoring.
For sure, and the paper on decompensated cirrhosis, which is a severe liver disease, highlights how digital health tools are being used to manage chronic conditions like this more effectively. These tools can provide more personalized care, reduce the need for hospital visits, and really improve patients' quality of life.
So digital health isn't just about convenience, it's about actually providing better care and potentially improving outcomes for patients. What are some of the specific ways these tools are being used to manage chronic conditions?
Well, we have remote monitoring devices that can track vital signs like blood pressure and heart rate. This lets doctors monitor patients' conditions in real time and intervene early if necessary. And then telemedicine platforms allow patients to consult with their doctors virtually, reducing the need for those in-person visits and making healthcare more accessible, especially for people in rural areas or with limited mobility.
It's amazing to see how technology is breaking down so many barriers to healthcare access and empowering patients to take a more active role in managing their own health.
It really is an exciting time to be involved in digital health. The potential to transform healthcare delivery is immense, and we're just getting started.
It seems like we're on the verge of a major shift in how healthcare is delivered. But as with any new technology, there are also some potential downsides to think about. And we'll dive into those in the next part of our deep dive. So we were just talking about the amazing potential of digital health to improve access to care and personalized treatment.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a field with huge possibilities.
Yeah,
But we also need to remember that technology by itself isn't a magic solution.
right. There are always those complexities and challenges to consider.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, take the idea of digital health reaching underserved communities. It holds great promise. But at the same time, we need to think about that digital divide. Not everyone has access to reliable internet, or even the skills to navigate these complex digital tools.
That's a really good point. It's easy to assume that everyone's comfortable with technology these days, but that's just not the reality. We need to be mindful of those disparities and make sure that digital health solutions are truly inclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to think about digital literacy, affordability, and even cultural sensitivities around healthcare when we're designing and implementing these tools.
So it's about meeting people where they are and addressing their specific needs, not just assuming that technology will automatically fix everything.
Exactly.
Now, another aspect we need to consider really carefully is the integration of AI into those actual clinical workflows. AI-powered diagnostic tools offer incredible potential, but we need to be really thoughtful about how they're introduced and used.
Absolutely. It's not just about the tech itself,
Hmm.
but how it actually fits into that existing healthcare system and how it impacts the relationships between doctors and patients.
Right. It's about making sure that these AI tools actually enhance that doctor-patient relationship, not replace it.
Exactly. Patients should feel like their concerns are being heard and addressed by a human, not just an algorithm.
I can see how that could be a big concern. If patients feel like they're just interacting with a machine, it could really erode trust.
Absolutely. That human element is crucial even as we embrace these new technologies. Doctors need to be trained on how to effectively use these AI tools and communicate their findings to their patients in a way that really builds trust and understanding.
So it's about finding that balance, right, between leveraging the power of AI and preserving that essential human connection that's really at the heart of healthcare.
Exactly.
And speaking of balance, another really important piece of this puzzle is the concept of explainable AI or XAI. This refers to the ability of AI systems to not only provide answers or predictions, but to actually explain how they got there in a way that's understandable to humans.
This is super important in healthcare, where trust is so essential. Patients need to understand how decisions are being made, especially when those decisions are based on these complex algorithms.
Right. It promotes that transparency and accountability, allows patients to ask questions and really understand the reasoning behind the AI's recommendations.
And it empowers them to be more active participants in their own healthcare. They can understand how the AI is working and better assess its limitations.
Right. So it's not just about being passive recipients of care, but actually having a voice in the process.
Exactly.
So it sounds like explainable AI isn't just a nice to have, but a necessity for the ethical and responsible use of AI in healthcare.
I think that's spot on. Transparency and explainability are just crucial for building trust and ensuring that AI is used in a way that really benefits everyone.
Now let's circle back to that study on GPT-4 that we talked about earlier, the one analyzing medical notes in all those different languages. While it showed some pretty impressive capabilities, it also revealed some limitations, right?
It did. The study found that while GPT-4 could accurately pick out that explicit information from the notes, it really struggled with those tasks that required a deeper level of understanding, like drawing inferences or spotting subtle patterns.
So it seems like AI still has a ways to go before it can truly replicate the reasoning and intuition of a human expert.
I think that's fair to say. While AI can be incredibly powerful for processing and analyzing large amounts of data, it still lacks that ability to fully grasp the complexities of human language and the nuances of medical diagnosis.
So for now, human clinicians remain absolutely essential.
I agree they bring that critical thinking, empathy, and nuanced judgment that's so crucial in healthcare.
It's a good reminder that technology should really be about augmenting and supporting human expertise, not replacing it.
Exactly as we continue to explore the potential of AI in healthcare, it's crucial that we strike that balance, embracing innovation while also preserving the irreplaceable value of human judgment and compassion.
This brings us to a broader question about the future of AI in healthcare. What are some of the key trends you're seeing emerge, and what should we as patients and consumers be paying attention to?
Well, one trend that's particularly exciting is this move towards personalized medicine. AI has the potential to analyze vast amounts of data from our genetic makeup to our lifestyle choices and use that to tailor treatments and interventions that are specifically designed for each individual.
So, no more one size fits all healthcare. It's an incredible concept, but it also brings up concerns about privacy and data security.
Oh, absolutely. As we embrace the power of AI, we need to be equally vigilant about protecting our personal health information. That means demanding transparency from the companies and institutions that are collecting and using our data, advocating for strong privacy regulations, and just being informed about how our data is being used.
So, it's about being empowered not just as patients, but as data owners, having a say in how our information is used.
Exactly.
Now, another trend to watch is the increasing integration of AI into those clinical workflows. We're already seeing AI-powered diagnostic tools being used in radiology and pathology, and I imagine that's only going to accelerate in the coming
Oh,
years.
for sure.
So AI is becoming more than just a research tool. It's actually becoming a partner in the exam room.
It is, and that raises those important questions again about that evolving relationship between doctors and patients. Will AI enhance that relationship by providing doctors with more information and insights? Or will it create more distance, with patients feeling like their concerns are being addressed by an algorithm rather than a human being?
It's a really delicate balance, and it's so essential that we use AI in a way that supports and enhances that human connection in healthcare, not replaces it.
I couldn't agree more. And finally, I think we're going to see a growing emphasis on ethical considerations in AI development and deployment. This includes addressing issues like bias, ensuring fairness and transparency in algorithms, and of course, protecting patient privacy.
That's encouraging to hear that those ethical considerations are being prioritized. As AI becomes more powerful and more pervasive, it's absolutely crucial that we use it responsibly and make sure it benefits all members of society.
Absolutely. The future of AI in healthcare really depends on our ability to develop and use this technology in a way that's ethical, equitable, and ultimately serves the best interests of patients.
It's definitely a complex and evolving landscape, but it's also incredibly exciting to think about the potential of AI to really transform healthcare for the better.
It is. As we continue to explore all the possibilities of AI,
Yeah.
it's so important that we have these open and honest conversations about the challenges, the opportunities, and those ethical considerations that will really shape the future of healthcare.
And that's exactly what we're doing here today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI in healthcare.
Wow, it has been fascinating really digging into the potential and also the complexities of AI in healthcare.
Absolutely.
We've talked about everything from the excitement around AI chatbots to that crucial need for explainable AI.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about.
Especially, remembering to address the digital divide, ensuring equitable access,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and always prioritizing that human element.
Right, that human connection. And this is just the beginning of the conversation, right? I mean, AI is constantly evolving. It's going to keep raising new questions and challenges.
Absolutely. And it's a conversation we all need to be having. It's not just about the technology. It's about how we shape it, how we make sure it aligns with our values, and really serves humanity as a whole.
Right. It's a shared responsibility. It involves researchers, clinicians, policymakers, and of course, patients just like you listening.
Exactly.
We've talked about how AI could personalize medicine, improve diagnostics, streamline those clinical workflows. But we also have to acknowledge the potential downsides, right? Like amplifying bias, eroding trust between doctors and patients.
Right, and potentially even creating new forms of inequality.
So we have to be aware of both sides, the potential and the risks, and approach AI development with, a critical eye.
Definitely. We have to think carefully about the data used to train these algorithms, how AI is actually being used in practice.
And the ethical implications.
Now,
It's a tough balancing act, harnessing that power of AI while also protecting against the downsides. And it's something we need to figure out together.
I agree. One thing that I find really encouraging, though, is that there seems to be a growing awareness of these issues. More and more people are emphasizing the importance of responsible AI development. And you see organizations like the team behind the Standing Together recommendations, they're really working to promote transparency and fairness.
Yeah, it's great to see those kinds of efforts taking shape. It feels like we're moving in the right direction, but there's still so much work to be done.
Definitely. We have to keep asking those tough questions, challenging assumptions, and pushing for ethical and equitable development. The stakes are really high, but the potential benefits are huge.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left feeling both excited and cautious. Excited about all the possibilities, but also cautious about the need to move forward thoughtfully and responsibly.
And that's a great way to put it. The future of AI in healthcare is still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. By staying informed, engaged, and advocating for those ethical and equitable practices, we can really help to create a future where this technology benefits everyone.
We would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. It is such a complex and evolving topic. So share your hopes, your concerns about AI and healthcare. Start discussions with your friends and family and just stay curious because the future of healthcare is being shaped right now, and your voice matters.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope we've sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to engage in this really important conversation. So until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.